All right, let's talk about the absolutely brutal final day of Israel's very first king, Saul. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a story packed with desperation, a terrifying choice, and a real fight over what a king's legacy even means. So, picture this. We're on the slopes of Mount Gilboa. The air is thick with chaos because a whole kingdom is about to just collapse in one single day. And we're not just talking about losing a battle here. This is the end of an entire era. Okay, so let's jump right into the thick of it. The Philistine army, these guys are a powerhouse, and they've completely shattered the Israelite forces. This has stopped being a battle. It's turned into a desperate, frantic scramble just to stay alive. I mean, the scene is just absolute carnage. The Israelite army isn't just being pushed back a little. No, they are completely broken, running for their lives. You've got soldiers falling left and right all over the mountain. The defeat is just total. And you have to understand, the Philistines aren't just there to fight an army. They're doing something much more calculated. They are systematically taking apart a dynasty. They're specifically hunting down the royal family. And bam, they get 3 of Saul's sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, and Melchishua. Just like that. And this is where it gets really intense. The camera, it kind of zooms in from this wide shot of chaos to focus on just one person, King Saul himself. He's cornered. He's been badly wounded by archers, and there's no way out. Capture is coming for him, for sure. So this is it, the climax of the entire battle. He's wounded, his army's gone, his sons are dead. King Saul is now facing a truly horrifying choice, and he gives one last desperate command.
And what he says next, wow, it tells you everything you need to know about what's going through his head. See, his biggest fear isn't just dying. It's what happens before that. It's the capture, the public humiliation, the torture he knows is coming. For a king, that's way worse than death. It's the ultimate symbol that everything he built has failed.
And this next part just perfectly shows how completely alone he is. He turns to his armor-bearer, his most trusted guy, and gives him a direct order, a final act of loyalty. But the guy is just paralyzed with fear. He absolutely cannot bring himself to kill the king. It's just too much. So what happens? Abandoned, no way out, Saul takes the only shred of control he has left. He takes matters into his own hands. In his very last act, he decides how and when he dies, robbing his enemies of the satisfaction of capturing him alive. And then, in this incredibly tragic twist, the armor-bearer, the same guy who was too scared to kill his king, now finds the courage to follow him in death. It's like, once the king was gone, that sacred line was crossed, and all that was left was his duty to die with his master. Let's just stop and think about the sheer scale of this loss for a second. In one single day, the king, gone. 3 of his sons, gone. His right-hand man, the armor-bearer, gone. All his men on the field, gone. We're talking about an entire royal line basically being wiped off the map in a matter of hours. It's staggering. Okay, so with the king dead, you'd think the story's over, right? The fighting's done? But not really. A new kind of battle is just beginning. The battle for his memory, for his legacy. And the Philistines, they kick it off with a methodical, brutal display to make sure everyone knows they won. And this isn't just a victory party. This is pure psychological warfare. They cut off Saul's head, they strip his armor and put it in their temple like a trophy. And then, and this is just brutal, they pin the headless bodies of Saul and his sons to the city wall of Bethshan for everyone to see. The message couldn't be clearer. We own you. We have completely and utterly dominated you. But wait, the story doesn't end there with that horrible display on the city wall, because in the dead of night, something incredible is about to happen. An act of insane courage that's going to challenge that whole narrative of humiliation. So word gets out about what happened to the king's body, and it reaches this town, Jabesh Gilead. And for these people, this isn't just news, it's personal. It's a deep, profound insult to their honor. You see, Saul had saved their city once, and they owed him. There was no way they were going to let his story end like this. And just look at what they do. It's an act of pure defiance. All their best men, their valiant men, they march all night long, deep into enemy territory. I mean, think about how dangerous this is. And under the cover of darkness, they managed to get the bodies of their king and his sons down from that wall. They're risking literally everything to get his honor back. And this brings us to the final part of our story, which is all about how these brave men managed to write a totally different ending, one that's a direct counterpunch to the public shaming the Philistines were going for. So they get the bodies back to their town, and they do things right. They perform the proper funeral rites, they burn the bodies, which prevents anyone from desecrating them again, and then they bury the bones. And to top it all off, the whole town fasts for 7 days. It's this powerful community act of grief and respect that completely reclaims their king's dignity. So, it all comes down to this really fascinating question, doesn't it? When the fighting is over, who really gets to write the final story? Is it the winners with their loud, brutal displays of power? Or is it shaped by the quiet, incredibly dangerous acts of loyalty from those who refuse to let that be the last word? Something to think about.